as you experience life, you're going to grow, which means nothing in your life is going to last forever. These are the final harsh truths which you need to know when it comes to your healing journey. Welcome or welcome back. It's your favorite mental health specialist or guidance, and that is what we have been talking about this whole month of April and for this video today. With that being said, though, because there's no right or wrong way to heal yourself, always and only take what resonates as well as leave the rest. So if it doesn't apply, then that means it's not in the line, which means it's not for you, so don't force it. As well as grab your pens, grab your paper, and always be prepared to take notes. Because this is the final video for the month of April, I'm going to switch things up. We have been going over and discussing the harsh truths when it comes to our healing journey, such as knowing that in life you're going to have opportunities. In life you're going to go through fluctuations of events. In life you're going to experience good, bad, happy, sad. Just because you have opportunities, just because you go through certain things in your life, doesn't mean that your life cannot change or that your life is not going to evolve. What we need to learn from this month of April, if you haven't watched any of those videos, check them out, is that it is okay to have struggled. It is okay to have suffered, because you don't have to continue to live your life like that. You have to realize that you go through certain things to learn certain lessons. Once you learn the lessons, once you process what has happened to you, once you accept yourself, once you hold yourself accountable, you will be able to move forward. Life is going to be able to move forward. And if you want to know how I know that and how I can guarantee that to you, well, because it's the end of April. We have already lived and witnessed 4 months into the year 2026. So give yourself a round of applause. Give yourself a pat on the back. Like, you have already survived some of the worst days of your life. This doesn't mean that you wanted to experience these things. This doesn't mean that you were always happy. This doesn't mean that you were always motivated. This doesn't mean that you were always excited. But the reality is that at the end of the day, you guys, the day is going to end. So it's really important that if you're new, you watch all the other videos for this month and just in general on this channel, as well as continuing to be inspired, continuing to be following these videos, because moving forward, you have to move forward. Like, we cannot continue to hold on to any past trials and tribulations. We can't continue to hold on any mindsets, any beliefs, any even people, places, and things, because it's not helping you. If you say you want to evolve, if you say you want to elevate, if you want to be successful, if you want to go after those goals, if you want healthy things and materials, whatever it is, you have to be willing to accept the people and the places and things that allowed you to be you in that moment, and release the people who didn't. Like, you have to be okay with letting go of things that you are familiar with. And the only reason why it seems so scary a lot of times is because you're doing it for the first time. Maybe you don't have family, maybe you don't have friends, maybe you don't have resources, maybe you don't have the support. Just because you don't have everything figured out doesn't mean it's impossible. Like, you have to be willing to watch these videos, to take notes, to comment, to engage, to ask questions, even with myself, or seeing a psychiatrist, going to therapy, going to the gods, the ancestors, and the universe. Take what resonates, leave the rest, because I'm not here to force religion or spirituality. Like, you have to be willing to apply yourself. Everybody, including myself, has gone through trials and tribulations, but the only difference between me and you watching this video is that we decided to move forward. I decided to move forward. I did not allow what I've gone through to affect me, because a lot of times it's not always your fault that you had to suffer, or that you were touched on inappropriately, or that you were abused, or that you were bullied, or that you were beaten on. You have to realize where you had to hold yourself accountable and where you have to hold certain people and places and things accountable. If you were abused, you didn't ask to be abused. Nobody deserves to be touched on inappropriately. Nobody deserves to be bullied. Nobody deserves to be in poverty. But the reality is, the only reason why people continue these cycles is because you haven't took the time to forgive yourself. You haven't took the time to realize that you need to speak up. You haven't took the time to realize that certain people don't want to help you. Certain people are not good for you. Certain people you have to let go of. So until you're willing to sit with yourself, until you're willing to do the work, until you're willing to be vulnerable, which is not a weakness, you're the only person who's going to feel like your life is ruined. You're the only person who's going to live in regret. And I'm speaking from experience. What has helped me along my healing journey was to hold myself accountable. Instead of beating myself up, instead of saying that I'm weak or I'm a victim, I had to realize, why did I go through certain things in my life? Why did I go through certain things in my life? How did it affect me? How did it show up in my emotions? How did it show up in my character? How did it show up how I saw myself in other people? then I was able to realize certain things happened to me because maybe I didn't have the finances. Maybe my parents weren't around. Maybe I didn't have the resources. Maybe I wasn't educated. That's the same thing with you. You know why you struggle. You know why you suffered. Once you realize that you suffered and struggled because maybe you didn't have people pour into you, maybe you didn't have people invest into you, what could you do? They did what they did and they said what they said. You being angry and being frustrated with yourself and the people and the places and things who did hurt and harm you is not going to help you. That's what misery loves, company. You don't have to be miserable just because you grew up around miserable people. I grew up around miserable people. That doesn't mean that I don't care about them. This doesn't mean that I don't ever had love or poured into them. But you have to learn how to love yourself more. It's not selfish. It's not selfish for you to live your life because your life is for you. Your name is the only name on your birth certificate in the two people or one person who gave birth to you. And even though your parents gave birth to you, they don't control you. You have to learn how to be an individual when it comes to this life. That's the only way you're going to heal. That's the only way you're going to become successful. That's the only way you're going to be able to break barriers. That's the only way you're going to be able to become the generational cycle breaker. That's the only way you're going to be able to do things differently. You can't listen to people and places and things that you're meant to outgrow. You can't listen to people and places and things who set the distractions up for you to fail. So many people, yes, they gossip. They talk badly about you. They betrayed you. They did all these things. That does not matter. None of those people matter. And the only reason why those hurt people hurted those people was because they were hurt. So with that being said, because enough is enough and we're transitioning right now, it's currently the springtime. Let me know what the weather is like and where you at right now in the world. I'm currently in North America making this video. Nobody has time to be worried about our past. Like, we suffered, we struggled, we hurt. We need to reap what we sow. We need to receive all the energy that we know that we're willing. We need to be the people that we're willing to be. Like, yes, everybody has a past. Yes, you have emotions. This doesn't mean that I'm here to invalidate your emotions, but I'm telling you from experience, like, I've witnessed and I've gone through trials and tribulations just like you. The only difference is that I'm using my platform to be positive, to promote love, to inform and educate and motivate people. It's not for everybody, so don't force it. But if you are watching these videos, if you have been engaging, thank you. I genuinely appreciate these videos, but I create these videos for you just as much as myself, and just knowing that at the end of the day, like I said, the day is gonna end. Like, I'm not holding on to grudges. I don't care about the certain people, places, and things because, like I said, I have always known who I was, and this is why I make these videos, just to remind you, because maybe you don't have friends, maybe you don't have family, maybe you feel like you're alone. You're not. I am here. If you choose to ignore these videos, if you choose not to see it as a confirmation, that's on you. But at the end of the day, because the day is gonna end, you have to make a decision. Am I going to cry, heal myself, evolve, and become better? Or am I going to stay still? Am I going to become like the people who hurt and harm me? Because that's what a lot of people want. When people have gone through so much abuse and neglection and dysfunction and corruption and chaos, they normalize it. They think it's okay. And a lot of times they end up projecting and deflecting onto people. This is why when you tell people your goals, they talk down. This is why people gossip about you. This is why people say things like, oh, you're better. Nobody has time to deal with that. And a lot of people in the world deal with that. Like, not everybody. So if you are somebody who's never dealt with dysfunction, like from family members or friends or community, if you've never been around narcissistic people or toxic people, kudos to you. Continue to be loving, continue to be light, continue to help people, continue to pour into people. But if you have gone through these things, which you have to realize that only a certain amount of people are going to be there for you. Only a certain amount of people are going to care for you. If you don't care about yourself, nobody's going to care about you. I'm going to be so honest with you. And if you're not like me, if you're not somebody who is strong-minded, strong in the spirit, strong emotionally, physically, psychologically, you're going to break down. You will allow this world to distort your image. You will allow the wickedness and the evilness and the ignorance of other people to affect you. We can't do that. I'm not doing that. I never have and I never will. Like, this doesn't mean that, you know, certain things that you had to go through didn't cause like maybe setbacks or delays, but delay doesn't mean denied. Just because you had to lose certain things like materialistically, just because you had to go through certain seasons and chapters, that doesn't mean it's the end of the day. That doesn't mean it's the end of your life. Just because you lost certain things, just because you had to go outgrow certain things, that doesn't mean that you are going to be like that forever. I don't know about you all, but we are the author and the originator and the originator, which means we get to decide when we turn the page. We get to decide how many paragraphs are on the page. We get to decide how many pages are in the book, okay? Your life is for you. And if at the end of the day, if you don't have nobody that's there for you, who's going to be there? Because a lot of people don't care. A lot of people in this world are selfish. You know that. You know people are selfish. You know people only care about themselves. So if you're tired of being around selfish people and you say you want to be authentic, you say you want to be the best version of yourself, make sure you're liking these videos. Make sure you're engaging. Make sure you're sharing. Make sure you are spreading the wealth. You can't be abundant if you're not an abundant person. This is why I give freely. If you're going to give to people, if you're not going to support people, you don't have to. Okay? Keep that in mind. If you want to be supported, you have to support yourself and you have to support other people. It's mutual. The people who watch my content, the community, you guys, we are in this together. Like, genuinely. Because my content, it was never for me. It's not for me. It's not about me. It's for you, if I'm being completely honest. If you want to be a part of the greater good, you have to be great and good. You have to realize that some things you're going to have control over, some things you're not. You are going to go through things in life, but you have to learn. You have to be paying attention. So therefore, you know, okay, if I'm going down this path, if I want to be this person, if I want to do these things, it's not impossible, but I need to be mindful. I need to be mindful of the distractions. Once you lock in, once you focus, once you realize certain people, places, and things are a distraction, once you realize certain people, places, and things need to be cut off, once you realize certain people, places, and things are draining you, you're going to let it go. Even the things that you went through 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. Because if you don't, you're not going to be able to move forward. That's why you have the PTSD and the BPD and all these labels and attachments. And as a naturopathic physician, I'm going to go there. You don't need to be on medication and diagnosed to deal with mental health. You need to talk about the trauma. You have to be able to process what has happened to you, and you have to be willing to forgive yourself. If you're not willing to forgive yourself, if you're not willing to talk about what has happened to you, if you're not willing to be vulnerable, you taking medication is only going to numb you. That doesn't change the fact that you were touched on inappropriately by that family member at 5 or 6 years old. That doesn't change the fact that you were beaten and abused mentally. That doesn't take away the fact that you were in poverty your entire life. That doesn't change the fact that you were in 2 car accidents. That doesn't change the fact that you were sick, that you have STDs, whatever you went through. That doesn't change the fact that you were a young parent, a teen mom. That doesn't change the fact that you were evicted. That doesn't take away the fact that you went through the things that you went through. You cannot be afraid. You cannot be afraid to be vulnerable. Like, anybody who's ever made you feel bad about being vulnerable is not for you. Learn the lessons so therefore you don't have to continue to repeat the same cycles. With that being said, moving forward for the month of May, that's what we're going to be talking about. Life goes on and we reap what we sow. It's time to be the best version of ourselves. In order to be the best version of yourself, I'm telling you from experience, and I want to thank Dr. Anyan Kelly. Hopefully I'm saying her name correctly. You have to be able to step into this new version of you. The past version of you is done and over with. That's the only reason why you are so fickle. Like, you have your past, the present, and the future. It's all one, if we're being for real. It's just where you currently are. Your past happened. If you're present right now, if you're alive right now, you've been watching these videos, you're able to evaluate. You're able to reflect. You were able to be isolated. You were able to be separated. You were able to realize, okay, these people, places, and things are not for me. These people, places, and things are for me. These environments made me feel good. These environments made me feel bad. You were able to self-reflect. Once you self-reflect, like I said, once you see a therapist, psychiatrist, God answers the universe, you book your service in your session, you take notes, you apply yourself, you're going to be able to move on. You're going to be able to live your life. You're going to be able to have the energy now and the mindset to do the things that you want. You're going to be able to invest. You're going to be able to have the job. You're going to be able to get monetized. You're going to be able to do the things that you want to do. But like, you have to be still. You have to grieve. You have to cry. Like, let it go. Until you let it go, you're going to struggle and suffer. So with that being said, that's how we're ending off the harsh truths when it comes to our healing journey. I hope you guys are ready to talk about us healing and reaping what we sow. It's time. When you put in the work, you get the reward. You can't sit here and heal yourself for 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 years, 20 years and not change. You're going to change. And a lot of times you don't see the change because it's happening in real time. So whatever questions that you guys want to talk about for the month of May, let me know. Or whatever questions you had for the month of April, let me know. Follow me on all my social media platforms. All the information is down in the description box below. Make sure you guys follow me on Instagram and on TikTok because this is going to be the last day that I go live, unless you guys want me to go live, okay? But I love you. Your love. Until next time, these are the harsh truths when it comes to your healing journey, okay? Peace.